What is up, guys? Rick Kakis here, and this is the complete guide for how to beat the Pleasure Gardens encounter, also known as the dogs, within the Prestige difficulty Leviathan Raid in Destiny 2. This guide will cover everything, how to complete this encounter, focusing on the new Prestige Raid mechanics, as well as a bunch of tips and even recommended loadouts. And so, let's get started. Now, the Pleasure Gardens is essentially an unchanged encounter for the most part, aside from like one big difference we'll talk about in just a sec. So it really does still involve you sneaking around the map, going next to the spores while holding yourself a spore, the people with the prism weapons shooting those spores, exploding them, and getting the empowering spores bonus. The more of these empowering spores you have, the more damage you're going to do to the war beasts, and then eventually once you kill all of the war beasts, you will overcome this encounter. So that part is completely unchanged. However, the big change for Prestige difficulty is that instead of 6 war beasts, there are now 8. So you have 2 more war beasts you will have to kill in order to pass this encounter. So, what should you do? Well, the main change, absolutely the main change, is that your pathing will change. If you're down at the bottom and you're running around to the different spore locations, you are really going to have to be more cognizant of the fact that there are 2 more detectors, you could say, that are going to spot you and cause either a wipe or cause you to have to go back to the Cabal base in order to hold out there to avoid wiping. So that is really something that really is just a result of trial and error in order to get past that mechanic. And I really do mean that. If you go into Pleasure Gardens, I do recommend just having a couple of runs where you're not trying to beat it. You are just trying to figure out the different paths of the different war beasts and figure out when they turn around, where they go, all of that stuff, so that you can sneak around effectively. You are very unlikely to beat this the first try, even if you are an experienced person at the normal Pleasure Gardens encounter. Having 2 more war beasts really does throw your routes into a loop. Now, moving on from there, the most effective strategy you're going to want to use in the Pleasure Gardens, especially in Prestige difficulty, is to have every single teammate responsible for killing their own war beast. In normal mode, accomplishing this would complete the encounter, but in hard mode there are again 2 more that you have to then converge to and kill as well. So, instead of just talking about it, I have made this incredibly artistic, just perfect recreation of this encounter. If that doesn't deserve a like, I don't know what does, but this is the basic overview of the Pleasure Gardens. In the back where it says base, that is the Cabal structure that you go into to avoid getting wiped. And then there are several different spore locations represented by the dots that the war beasts will always go to. So once you trigger them, they will always go 1 to each different spore location. So 3 around the left side, like 1 right next to the base, 1 in the middle, 1 on the far side, and then 3 on the right side as well. Again, 1 close to the base, 1 in the middle, and then 1 on the far side. There is also 2 different spore locations in somewhat the middle of the map, with the one in the middle left side being Grove. This is the one surrounded by trees, and the one in the middle right side being Cave. This is the one essentially in a cave. The red dots are the normal war beast locations, and the blue dots are the 2 new ones added for Prestige mode. As you can see, there's 1 in the middle left, and then there's 1 in the cave section. So the best way to overcome this encounter is to have each of your 6 different teammates, I would say, assigned to the outer edges. So 1 teammate assigned, front left, middle left, and far left, and the same for the right. And then once you kill your assigned war beast, head to the middle section on your side. So if you're on the left side, you head to Grove. If you're on the right side, you head to Cave. And eventually there'll be 3 people all working to damage the last war beast in those kind of middle enclosed sections. And that will cover all 8. Now, if you're a well-equipped group, I think 36 spores is enough to kill all 8 war beasts, with 48 being more than enough, frankly. But something important to remember, you don't have to kill the war beasts. They don't regenerate health. So if you only get 24 spores, let's say, and you're discovered someone gets caught, you can always go for the wound strategy, where you go to your spots, you throw a pulse grenade, you shoot some bullets, whatever you need to do, and just wound your war beast, get it to half health, or even just take away a quarter of its health, run back to the base, and then survive that wiping phase, and then the base is going to open up, and then you start to do it again. If you can go and do that and get your war beast to below half even, then the next time you actually have to damage them, obviously, they'll go down a lot quicker. Now, it should be noted that if you do end up killing a war beast, things are going to change. It's going to be a lot shorter before the war beasts become restless. However, that war beast will be completely gone. So if you go out, you kill, let's say, 3 war beasts on the left side, then you go back to the base and survive the wipe mechanic and come back out. Yes, you're going to have a lot less time to get spores, but the entire left side will be completely devoid of war beasts, so you can get spores a lot easier. So you kind of have to pick your strategy. But I do think the best one is to have everyone go to a specific war beast and then obviously come together to kill the last 2 prestige difficulty ones with around 36-48 spores. Again, that should be enough to kill yours and the next one, especially if you are teaming up in the end. But what kind of weapons should you use to get an edge in this encounter? What does a ton of damage to war beasts? Well, number 1, I think the merciless exotic fusion rifle is fantastic. It does a ton of damage per shot, and it also ramps up its fire rate. It's just perfectly meant for dealing with these big boss-like enemies. Another weapon that's fantastic is pretty much any rocket launcher with cluster bombs. A raid rocket launcher with cluster bombs, you can take down a war beast with 5 shots at around 36 spores, which is pretty darn good. They do a ton of damage per shot. You definitely want to be using your power weapon. Even a shotgun like Hawthorne's Field Forge shotgun is fantastic for just, again, creaming the war beast. You do not want to be sitting there with a primary, like, kinetic or energy weapon going hand. That's probably not going to go that well. So try to use your power weapon. And that brings me up to another tip. You should and can always get full power ammo in this encounter by simply farming the beast herders at the beginning of this encounter. Seriously, go around, kill the beast herders. They drop power ammo always, and they're very easy to kill with your kinetic or energy weapon. And if you still don't have full power, well, just wipe, respawn, kill those guys, make sure everyone has full power ammo, and then you're good. Your entire team will be completely set up to nuke their respective war beasts. So make sure you're doing that. Don't ignore getting power ammo. Oh, and by the way, another thing that absolutely nukes the war beasts is pulse grenades. If you're playing any class with pulse grenades, especially Striker Titan that has 2, you can just throw 2 and basically go do whatever at that point. The pulse grenades do absolutely phenomenal damage to the war beasts. Supers as well, using, slam if you're a Titan, using other supers is going to do pretty decent damage to those war beasts. And so guys, that's really it for this encounter. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. Now, if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.